One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family, one people, one planet, one love. One family.
Good morning and welcome to SoulCall Sunday. We're here at SoulCall Global, wherever you are and whatever time you're watching this. May this be a day that's unfolding in the best way possible in this moment for you. I'm Reverend Christie Hardwick and happy to be with you today. Today is still winter. And so wintertime, we continue to notice the light that is leaving us a little early and arriving a little soon in the morning. And maybe you're not yet here this morning if you didn't move your clocks forward in some parts of the country in the United States and in other places in the world. So welcome to SoulCall Global. Every time we're together, we try to spend time both in our hearts and in our minds and with our bodies, because we know that the unity of those things creates an experience in each of us that allows us to walk this earth and be together in a way that has the highest vibration. So this morning we begin our SoulCall Sunday with Qigong practice with Sifu, try that early morning, Sifu Helen Yi.
Our awareness inwards, feeling the subtle vibration of the energy within us, that Qi energy. We want to now strengthen that Qi energy through our mind's intention and thoughts. With the movement of our arms, we're going to float them up to shoulder height. Taking a breath, opening the lao gongs in the palms. Draw the Qi in, putting that mind's intention out there, but also the feeling of the Qi coming into the body, nourishing all of the cells, coming into the meridian channels and pathways, extending out, touching the universal cosmic energies that make up life force energy. Draw it in, feeling the fullness, feeling the lightness, and feeling the emotions and the feeling of positive Qi. Extending out, bringing your wrist, relaxing, extending them parallel to the body, opening up the rib cage, opening the lao gongs in the center of the palms, drawing the Qi in. Continue to feel the mind connecting to the thoughts, the thought of connecting to the Qi, connecting to wellness, being brought into the body, extending out, bringing in the vitality, the strength of the energy, coming in, nourishing your cells, nourishing all the systems of your body, extending out again. Feel your powerfulness, feel the vibration, feel them vibrating to a higher frequency, drawing it in, pushing out one more time. Feel the expansiveness of your source, floating the arms down, and then bringing your arms up, touching all your fingers, balancing on the balls of your feet, And down on your heels, feeling the chi, the particles of chi, lifting them up, high above, connecting again, and directing that chi into the crown chakra and byway point, allowing your mind, your thoughts and your emotions and feelings to feel that good energy coming into the body, drawing it in, guiding it, feeling the fullness of all that chi energy absorbing into your eyes, your mouth, your throat, into your bone marrow, your cells, your ligaments, your joints, into your heart, your lungs, your liver, your stomach, your gallbladder, kidneys, pushing out any stagnations, feeling yourself filling with light.
Hello, and welcome back. It's a beautiful practice. I find myself feeling such a release of tension and a remembering of the unity of all things, and remembering to bless and appreciate this amazing life we have and the bodies that we have. However yours is functioning today, we can be grateful for the breath and for the blood moving through and for the trillions of cells that are each doing their part to make it possible for us to be present right now. We would love to spend some time, before I speak a little bit about devotion, in a meditation. And I know on the hearts and minds of so many people all over the world are those in the Ukraine, and we have all been sending them prayers and energy and wonderful ideas about the possibility for peace, even and when it looks like it's not possible right now. And the thing happening there in the Ukraine reminds us of conflict areas all over the world that are constantly happening while we are where we are without dealing with it. So unless you are a person who's in a place of conflict, we are invited to hold the space of possibility of peace for all of those who are in situations right now that do not appear to have any peace present. So we imagine for those who are having to leave their homes and get on trains and go to destinations where they don't have a plan and they don't know what will happen the next day, that we send them our peace. We send it all over the globe because we're all connected. Each of us matters to the whole, and we recognize this. So our meditations and our prayers are to remind us that we are connected to the whole, and as we lift ourselves, others can be lifted as well. So as you go into this meditation, take a deep breath in and send your breath and energy of peace to all the places on the planet that you can imagine will benefit from this idea of peace. And imagine all the wonderful souls that may pick up this message that you are sending, that you are broadcasting with your mind and heart and soul. Let us dive in to peace, be as it, and let it flood us with possibility for more and more and more. Let's move into a meditation now with some beautiful music from Natalia Zuckerman and a wonderful video that she's made for us. Thank you, Natalia, for that beautiful meditation, the beautiful music that allowed us to be present for and to raise our vibrations to a level of peace that can be tapped into from anywhere in the world. Today, I wanted to dwell on the idea of devotion. I love the word devotion. There was a Swatch watch that I found once in my travels that had the word devotion on it. So I bought it and wore it for years just to look at that word, devotion, and contemplate it. And what does it mean? I think about the funny song from, I can't remember what the play was, I think Grease maybe, but hopelessly devoted to you, right? So we think about these romantic ideas of devotion and being devoted to another person. But this idea of devotion is love, loyalty, or enthusiasm for a person, activity, a cause, devotion. We sometimes hear people talk about how they're devoted to the task, they're devoted to their work, right? They're devoted to their husband or their wife or their children. And this devotion takes on the form of active love. I think about the wonderful animals that so many people have in their lives. I've never actually had an animal in my life on a daily basis, except for when I was very young, but we had a dog that was sort of a guard dog outside. So it wasn't the experience that I see most of my friends have with their animals who are so devoted to them. And the devotion that I notice with the animals is how they are ever present, ever ready to respond to what's happening around them in the room. If there's sadness, they're quiet. If there's joy, they're exuberant. If there's comfort needed, they seem to know. And they will come over to the person and maybe lay a head on a lap or cuddle up on someone's feet. This devotion is something that is not kept away for any reason. It's a devotion that is always and ever there for the person, even for people that they don't know. I noticed that even though I have some allergies to animals, they know that I love. So they come forward and come right into my space. And often there'll be 10 people in a room and a kitty will come right behind my neck and want to lay itself on me like a blanket, right? There's this devotion to connection that animals know because they're not in their heads as a lot of us human beings are all the time, checking and editing and wondering if it's proper, good, right now to demonstrate love or devotion. They just do it. What if we were more natural like that? And we're devoted to something or someone. What are you devoted to? What does your devotion look like? I think about that word, this idea of love and loyalty and enthusiasm for something. And I have to look at my own life and say, where do I demonstrate that? If you're 100,000 feet above, and now that we have drones, I guess you could do that, and could watch my life unfolding, what would you see? What would you say she's devoted to based on how I spend my time, based on where I give my gifts? That's the answer to what we're devoted to, is what we spend time, what we're loyal to, what we're enthusiastic about. So I'm enthusiastic about inner peace. I'm enthusiastic about sharing my gifts and being present. But as I thought this through, what could be the greatest devotion of all? There's a beautiful song that Stevie Wonder wrote. I remember singing it and thinking, what an interesting thing to say. And in it he said, love's in need of love today. What if we're devoted to love? And we say that word so much and we use it so much, and sometimes it gets diluted. But when we're talking about love. We're talking about love with the capital L, the idea of the force behind everything, that which moves and lives and has its being in every living thing, that which is the engine of the universe, of source, of creativity, that love, devotion to it. What came to me as I was thinking about this was the biblical scriptures that are in Corinthians. At first I was thinking it was Colossians, because I confused some of the books that are attributed to the Apostle Paul. And I find the Bible a fascinating sacred document, like many others. To me, it's not the only one that's there, but this one is a fascinating one, because so much of it was written, especially the New Testament, long after the events happened. Even Paul himself, if you don't know his story, he actually became what they called then a Christian, because after the death of Christ, some people began calling themselves Christians years after Christ died, the one called Jesus. And he saw the Christ on a road and was given a message. So he had kind of a soul call to become an apostle. So he named himself apostle based on that experience that he had on the road, seeing the Christ, whether in his consciousness or physically. So Paul, who is the author of a lot of ideas, came into these ideas later. He had some ideas that I grapple with, and some scholars grapple with. Paul is actually the author of the sin salvation paradigm. It wasn't in anything before that. The Christ himself didn't speak of salvation and himself being Savior, but that came with Paul in his understanding. And this is the beauty of our understanding of things. They unfold. Paul was devoted to this idea of being a living, breathing aspect of the Christ consciousness as he understood it, as we are all doing, as we understand it. And in this passage that is so often quoted in weddings and different celebrations, all of you have heard it over and over again. Love is patient, love is kind, it doesn't envy, it doesn't boast. It's not proud, it does not dishonor others, it's not self-seeking, it's not easily angered, it keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, always perseveres. Love never fails. This is the scripture that we know. We hear it over and over. We don't often hear what preceded it, or even the things that follow it. What preceded this scripture about love, it was describing love. It was letting us know what is meant by love, this thing that doesn't envy, that doesn't boast, that never fails, that doesn't proud, that doesn't get angry. Paul was helping us understand what this love looked like. Because before that aspect of the scripture, he said these words: if I speak in the tongues of men or angels, but have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. So here he begins to talk about the gifts that we have. And at that time, the gift of tongues meant the idea that you were sort of infused with spirit or were speaking in many different languages at once, and it was considered a very mystical, wonderful thing. But he was saying, whatever we're expressing, whatever gifts we may have, if they're not in love, infused with love, acting from love, then they're nothing. Goes on to say, if I have the gift of prophecy and can fathom all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have a faith that can move mountains, but do not have love, I am nothing. So you can even demonstrate. You can have a life that looks amazingly beautiful. You can have gifts and talents, whether they're art talents, whether they're gifts of prophecy, as I said. Whatever the gifts are that you have, again, do not have love, I am nothing. Meaning it has no impact, it has no affect. It's not actually doing the things that we intend it to do, because it may come from pride, it may come from ego. He even goes on to say, if I give all I possess to the poor and give over my body to hardship that I may boast but do not have love, I gain nothing. So even all the doingness that we have sometimes, this idea of if I just do enough to show who I am, if I just give enough, then maybe I'm worthy. And what this is reminding us of is that love itself is the thing. Love itself is what we want to be and give and have. And all the other things that come from that, whether it's gifts that we give, gifts that we share, gifts that we express, whether that's in resources or art or spoken word or the gift of mechanics or the gift of nursing or the gift of whatever it is that we do, those come out of our alignment with and our devotion to love. So that middle section that we're all familiar with about how love never fails and the description of what love is, then is followed by the idea that yes, there's charity in giving. Yes, there's hope. Yes, there's faith. But of all these things, of all these expressions of life, of all these ways of being, love is the number one. Love is the all-sufficiency. Everything else is contained within it. So if we're to be devoted to anything, what if we're devoted to being love? Devoted to being love. The idea that yes, I can express my gifts. Yes, I can let love express through me and give through me. And yet, if I'm not allowing love to have its way with me, it can be for nothing. And this is not to beat ourselves up. This is not to say, I haven't been doing it right. This is not to say, oh my goodness, what have I done with my life? This is to say, we are invited to a greater and greater expression of love because you cannot be separate from it. You are it. So you haven't been doing anything wrong, and you can't do love wrong. You can only do more. This idea says to us, let's devote ourselves again and again and again to love love, to be loyal to love, to have enthusiasm for love. We're faced with so many things right now, and we're always faced with something in our lives. And the only answer is to love, to be love. And what does that look like in the face of war? And what does that look like in the face of sorrow? What does that look like in the face of a broken heart? It looks like the authentic you, allowing love to have its way. And it doesn't mean we're always just going to be singing songs. It doesn't mean there won't be tears. It doesn't mean there won't be grief. It doesn't mean there won't be the rending of our clothing in rage and sadness about the losses that are happening. It means that we're devoted to love having its way. And we know that love can be tender, love can be sweet, but love can be fierce. Look at the amazing mothers in the Ukraine who said to the Russian mothers, you want your sons, you come and get them. We are mothers after all together. Yes, we are. And what the people in Ukraine are standing up for right now, on behalf of all of us, is the idea to be sovereign, independent beings and to not have any other authority over our lives. Only love. Love that moves us to action. Every day, I send love to every person in every condition on this planet. And yes, including those who believe are perpetrators, those who believe are at the cause of all the things that are happening. Because love is the transformative power. If we're devoted to it, we can be agents of it. We can be the diplomatic representatives of love. And we can broadcast it by our being, by not contributing to the strife, to the hate, to the otherness, to the making of enemy. I always remember the lessons from the civil rights movement. And I always talk about Mr. John Lewis and his lessons about the movement in his book, Across That Bridge. He reminds us that the power of that movement at the essence was love, not anger, not hate, not retribution, but love. Love for our fellow human beings, to remind them that they're made of the same stuff. And if we look for the love in the other person, or devoted to looking for the love in the other person, even if it looks like it's just a little pilot light, we can connect with that and allow it to grow in them and allow it to grow in us. We can rest in the embrace of love, and we can feel its fullness, and we can feel the range of our emotions and still be devoted to love. We return to it time and again. We return to it constantly. In a sense, it's a prayer without ceasing. Yes. Though I may speak in tongues and have not love, I am only a resounding gong or a clanging cymbal. Let us be in harmony with love and allow the beautiful reverberation and sound to carry into the earth, into the cosmos, across all peoples, from our heart to yours, to theirs, to ours, devoted to love. Let that be your way. It's so interesting. That was the music of a beautiful song that Erica and Lisa sing. And it usually has all the words that I spoke from Corinthians, but I think that must be a musical version. But they do such a beautiful job of singing that wonderful passage. And I appreciate it so much. It's something that I listen to over and over, and I recommend to you. I think it's on the Reflections album from Lisa Ferraro and Erica Leckett. And you can find it on our website. And the song is about love. And they sing that wonderful song. Yes, and Lisa is giving us the words, though I may speak with bravest fire and have the gift to all inspire, but have not love. Yeah, it's Reflections, the gift of love. It's such a beautiful, beautiful version. And I recommend it to you as you continue to remind yourself of that love. And remember that the love is not just for other, it begins in you. And the more we allow love to move through us, it is also enlivening ourselves and enlivening us. And the beauty of that is as you allow it to move through you, it's also love in you and as you. So we allow for that and we give the best that we can every day. Yeah. My words are vain and sounding brass and hopeless gain. Yes, if I have not love. Thank you so much for that. And for your time with us today at SoulCall Global. We celebrate you, we celebrate life, and in spite of all its inconsistencies and its challenges and its days that seem endless with strife, we know that love is prevailing, and we trust that. So we celebrate. One of the things we celebrate here at SoulCall Global is our 2nd anniversary. Already 2 years. And we will have a hybrid event where we will be in person, but we'll also be online. So you can join in whichever way you can. And it looks like, I'm trying to read April the 3rd, that's happening. So that's wonderful. As always, we continue to be online, but we're also going to be in person starting April 3rd. So there's more information about that on our website. We're beginning that hybrid that many of us are in, trusting that the pandemic has, slowed its grasp on our lives. And so we have the opportunity to choose to be in person to the level that we feel comfortable and safe. And we invite you to follow your own heart and your own intuition and be with us virtually or in person starting April the 3rd. So that's exciting and wonderful news. We continue to do wonderful things around classes and offerings. So you check out soulcallglobal.org for that. We always welcome your gifts of your presence here now, the gifts of your presence in classes and in events, and also the gifts of your resources so that we can continue to do what we love to do, which is be SoulCall Global online and in person for you. What else do we have besides wonderful, the idea of donating, which I want to emphasize because we live and move and have our being in love and as a result of your love and your sharing. Monday meditations, yes. Lisa has been just extraordinarily devoted to your inner life by having these Monday meditations. And they happen every Monday in the evening so that you can go into your evening and maybe your sleep with the idea of peace. It matters. All these practices matter. Our devotion to peace and love and greater understanding is based on how much we practice it. And the Monday meditations help you to practice that. We also do Wisdom Wednesdays, and Natalia has an amazing, exciting one coming up. And that's going to be March the 16th, I think. Again, my glasses are not wanting to read the small print on things. So it's a Wednesday. And today is the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th. Yes, March 16th will be the next Wake Up with the Consciousness Cafe. As you know, we run them early, like 7 a.m., so that you early birds can get right up and listen to it. But it'll also be there for you as a replay whenever you get to it. just like this. And yeah, check us out on social media, because on YouTube and on Facebook, there's a lot of information. There's a lot of content that we have available on our website. It's for you, and it's for you to share. Share with someone you think might benefit from this talk today, from talks from last week, from talks from last month. It's timeless wisdom that comes through us on behalf of us and you. So please use it, share it on YouTube, share it Facebook, share it with friends in an email, and remind them to subscribe to our newsletter, because there's a lot of juicy good bits in that, right? We have something that we share regularly, so you can sign up on our website for our newsletter. And also know this, that there is a team of people, healers and people who pray. And when we say healers, we mean people who facilitate healing, because they're focused on the wholeness of every individual. And so we accept prayers at soulcallglobal.org. And know that there's a team that pays attention to everything that you send in, keeps it in mind, holds you in heart and in spirit. And we know that there's a power in that. There's a power in the love that we share together. There's a power in our devotion to each other. So join us at SoulCall Global, whether virtually or in person, starting April 3rd, because we are so happy to be part of your life and for you to be part of ours, because we know that this offering comes from a devotion to love, and a devotion to prayer, and a devotion to embodying spirit as we walk on this earth. So may your day be a beautiful one, whatever way and whatever form love takes with you today, whether it's in laughter, whether it's in tears, whether it's in nature, whether it's in the loving embrace of your animal or your person. May love be your way today. And know that wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whatever you're holding, however things are for you, you are loved.
One family, one people, one planet, one love.